Almighty God, we gather this evening hour to conduct the business of this city, to offer our prayer for our mayor, for the president, for the members of the city council, and for all in authority. Grant unto them a sense of justice, strength, and wisdom. They perform their duty in behalf of all thy people. We commend this nation, our law enforcement, our fine rescue, and thy people, thy merciful care and understanding. Remember those who lie upon a bed of affliction, comfort those who mourn. In the name of the one who's Lord of life, we pray. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Miss Nicholas? Here. Mr. Les?
Here.
Miss Crary?
Here.
Mr. Smalls?
Here.
President Ricks?
Here.
Mayor Mel?
Okay. Number 5 on the agenda is a second public hearing with possible action on ordinance number 1810, text amendment number 234, an ordinance to amend Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, Article 1, Zoning, Division 9, Exceptions and Supplements to the zoning regulations of the City of Laurel Code, providing an effective date. We have a court reporter present. Mr. Brock, reading of the file, please.
Mr. President, the ordinance before you this evening, 1810, is the text amendment that was presented to you at the first public hearing. It has been amended to include language that would allow the adaptive reuse of existing buildings for a house of worship located on a lot 1 acre or greater in size as a special exception in the ICS. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, sir. I'll open the public hearing at 7:02. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? There is no one signed up. Again, I'll ask, is there anyone wishing to speak on it? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:03. And I'll ask for any discussion or a motion on the, Mr. Smalls.
Mr. President, I move that we approve ordinance number 1810, text amendment number 234, an ordinance to amend Chapter 20, Land Development and Subdivision, Article 1, Zoning, Division 9, Exceptions and Supplements to the zoning regulation of the Laurel City Code, as read to the record.
Thank you, sir. Any second?
I'll second Mr. Smalls.
Thank
Will
you.
you accept as amended?
Okay.
As amended, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Smalls.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Miss Nicholas?
Yes.
Miss Crary?
Yes.
President Ricks?
Yes.
Mayor Mel?
Thank you. All right, this particular time, we'll have the approval of the minutes of the 22nd meeting of November 23rd, 2014, and the 23rd meeting of December 8th of 2014. Are there any amendments to those minutes? If not, I'll take a motion. for
Mr.
approval.
President,
Yes,
move to approve.
second?
Second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk?
Miss Crary?
Yes.
Miss Nicholas? Yes. Mr. Les?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Ricks?
Yes.
Mayor Mel?
Okay, all right. But this time we'll have the general public hearing and, the report of the mayor and city council. Mr. Smalls.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a couple of announcements on this Thursday, January 15th, the PGCMA, Prince George's County Municipal Association, will hold its monthly meeting. The meeting will be held at the College Park, in College Park. It's not College Park City Hall, I don't think, but it's in College Park beginning at 7 o'clock. Also on January 22nd, there will be a community meeting at Dwight D. Eisenhower Middle School. As many of you are aware, Dwight Eisenhower has been going through some issues with its leadership and others, and members of the faculty at the school want to bring the community in to let them know that they are still there. They're still teaching. Kids are being educated and well educated in the school. So this is an opportunity for the community and the school to reconnect. That's my report, sir.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Crary?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of notes, and I see we have someone that's going to be speaking at our general public hearing, probably on the same issues. And there was 5 fires in a 12-hour period this weekend in Prince George's County. I think one of them was in Anne Arundel County, and they were all on things that are warned about all the time, and the space heaters and the distance between curtains and bedding, and we all need to be careful because a lot of damage, and we put a lot of lives in danger. In addition, we celebrated Carl Brundle's life this Saturday, and I know that Carl is still watching over us, and I hope he stays for a long, long time watching our development here in the city. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Mr. Les?
Thank you, Mr. President. The council members and I attended Laurel Board of Trade Holiday Luncheon on the 10th of December. We attended the Mayor's Holiday Reception on the 11th, the City Employee Holiday Luncheon on the 12th, and the Parks and Recreation on the 19th, their luncheon. So the moral of that story is we got plenty to eat. On the 17th, we attended the Ashford Homeowners Association meeting. I want to thank them for inviting us. And finally, I knew Carl for 35 years. I came about the same time he did to the city on the Planning Commission, and it's a little over 35 years ago. And condolences to his sister Joyce and the family. Carl will be missed by all, and I'll miss my conversations with him. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Nicholas?
In addition to what's already been said, I'd like to congratulate all of the Spirit Award winners. The decorations were really hard to decide, but it was I had a great time, and it was very, very cold. So I just wanted to say congratulations.
Thank you. As far as my report, I'd just like to again send the condolences of the council to the Brendel family, the Smith family, and the Sly family for their losses in the recent weeks. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. A couple things, condolences you just said to the Smith and Sly family, as well as I want to thank all the city staff, as well as members of the community that came out in celebration of Carl Brundle's life. As most know, Carl passed away on Christmas Eve, and he will be greatly missed. But we gave him a very nice send-off. I know his family, Joyce and others, appreciate that, and I thank the council and all the staff for all their support during this time. We did have the public hearing on December the 10th, for those that may have missed it, regarding Dorset Road. Dorset Road continues to move forward as we had to put some weight restrictions on that. The last I was told that they're continuing to move forward with that. They're going to try to do some concrete. Is that correct, Rob? Which will hopefully allow us to take the weight restrictions off. So if weather continues to be bad like this, it may be a little bit longer. You also noticed when you came into it, might have had a few leaks coming from the ceiling. Council did provide the money to get the roof redone. It's a big chunk of change for us, over $600,000 to do this roof, and badly needed. But I'm hopeful, Mike, we get started there soon, and hopefully, knowing our luck, it's probably going to snow and rain for the next 30-some days. Let's hope not. The Martin Luther King wreath placement out at our peace pole right out front. We will again do that on January the 16th, which is Friday, from 4:30 to 5. The public is invited to attend. It's a short ceremony. It's done mainly by the city employees here, but again, it's right out front, and we say a few words, remember a great individual, and again, that's the 16th from 4:30 until 5. All right, I heard that. Got it? That's okay. So, for those that may not know, on Wednesday, this Wednesday, the 14th, General Assembly goes back into session. We have some new faces. We had the opportunity to meet with our delegation last week regarding a couple issues that we're dealing with, ongoing issues, one being WSSC. So we're hopefully going to continue to be in Annapolis and make our presence known regarding that issue that we've been dealing with for quite some time. And on January the 21st, new governor gets sworn in. So we'll be working with new governor, new members of the delegation, and we look forward to that. You know, I usually this time try to read out a couple goals that I try to accomplish in the upcoming year. That'll be done at the second meeting, which will be at our next meeting in January. So look forward to that. And Mr. President, I do want to acknowledge and thank Chief Bayshore from County Fire Department, our County Fire Chief, coming in. He's going to speak in just a few minutes as soon as the President recognizes him, but I want to thank the work that him and his staff continue to do. Our career and volunteer work very hard in this city and as well as Prince George's County. And as you heard Councilmember Carreri bring up, there's things happening all the time, and we need to get back to some of the basics, and I think he's going to remind us about some of that. So I appreciate him being here tonight as well. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I'd like to open the general public hearing. We do not have anyone signed up to speak, but I'd like to call Chief Mark Bayshore forward to say a few words, if you would, please, sir.
Thank you, sir. Chairman, Council, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity. It has indeed been a rough couple of days and a rough couple of months, which is what brings me here. I want to echo the mayor's comments about both the career and volunteer folks, not only here in Laurel, but all over the county, out of 45 different facilities that day and night, 24 hours a day, are providing service to Prince George's County. They do a fantastic job with the resources we have. We can always use more, so if you have some to give us, I'll be happy to accept it on behalf of everybody. I want to give you a real brief report of 2014 over 13 and then get into the meat of why I'm here. Our call volume in Prince George's County was up 4% in 2014. Our fire fatalities were down 69% over 2013. Our arson fires were down 12%. Our arrests made by fire investigators were up 78%. Each of those are positive statistics, made possible by additional staff on the streets, by cooperation between agencies, whether it's the City of Laurel with the fire prevention efforts here or the county police who provide us investigators to help with the rest. They're all positive because people are on the streets doing the things they need to do. Less positive is that 4 out of the 5 fire fatalities we had in Prince George's County last year occurred in homes with no working smoke alarm. 4 out of 5. 3 of those in the city of Bowie alone. That's very rare, very unusual, and a reason why I was at the city of Bowie last week to talk to them about efforts that not only the council but the residents can take to help reduce those smoke alarm issues, but also reduce the fatalities. Unfortunately, then on January 1st, we had the small fire on Carriage Hill Drive here in Laurel, where the resident, we believe it's an accidental fire. The resident did make statements to the paramedic crew before she was able to be interviewed. She made statements that she was lighting a cigarette and caught her hair on fire, which then also started a piece of a couch. Very small fire, not even enough to set off a smoke alarm. Unfortunately, the fire was in the head area, which gets into the lungs with what she inhaled, and she was pronounced the following day. So I was on the phone with the mayor, right away. I do that as a courtesy to the mayors of any of the jurisdictions and any of the elected folks that I have the capacity to get to, just to drive home the message about safety. In this case, it was a pure accident, it appears, although the fire investigators never got a chance to interview her before she passed away. The causes of all the fires varied in the past few days. We had, as the Councilwoman said, 5 in the last 14 hours, really, a 14-hour period, from a candle to combustibles too close to a heater to an overloaded extension cord. Every one of those fires in that 14-hour period over the last 2 days, every one of them was preventable. But every one of them also had a common thread, and that was that in all 5 of them, the occupants of the homes were alerted to that fire by a working smoke alarm. All 5 of them had an opportunity to get out. That I can point to 4 other people that passed away last year in Prince George's County did not have the opportunity. So what I'm here tonight to do is announce a program to you and ask for help getting the message out about a program that we have named Adopt a Neighborhood. After the fire in the Christmas Eve fire in Bowie, and then we had the Christmas Day fire over in Seat Pleasant, we determined that we needed to do something different. For 20, 30 years, we've been preaching smoke alarms. We've been telling everybody we need to keep combustibles away from the heaters. We've been telling them they need to change the batteries. We've been telling them, and we're clearly not getting the message across. So what this program attempts to do is engage the business community and I'll leave flyers with you here, but engage the business community to either fund or find funding for smoke alarms that the fire department would then install. That's no different than what we do today with smoke alarms that are donated by Pepco or some of those other businesses that help us out with that. What is different is 2 things, and one is that we will not leave that neighborhood until that neighborhood is completely protected. Right now, we go after a fire, we spend the next day there for a few hours, we knock on whatever doors we can, and once a month we go back out to different neighborhoods. But we have never prior to this tracked that neighborhood. So we're going to be using GIS capabilities with the county to actually track neighborhoods. We've had very good initial support for the program from the business community, securing commitments from Berman Enterprises in Bowie, which I know they have quite a bit here as well. I didn't know until tonight they had as much here, so it gives me another opportunity to go back to them and try to get them to adopt something here in Laurel. But they've adopted a community in Bowie. Carrollton Enterprises I'm going to visit Thursday. They own 8 shopping centers in the county. I would hope that they'll end up adopting a neighborhood around each of those shopping centers. Old Line Bank committed today to a significant contribution to the program. They have banks all over the county. The Red Cross has committed to the program. We have several different businesses. The others, Collective Empowerment Group, which is a group of churches, they've committed to the program. And the first one, the fire that we had in Bowie that spurred this, the International Association of Firefighters, their business office is right at the entrance to that community. They adopted that community. We have now, since that day, visited all 102 homes in that neighborhood and made sure that they had an alarm. So the last part of the program, the Adopt a Neighborhood program, is that the business, we ask the business not only to fund or find funding for the smoke alarms, but we ask them to provide a place for the people in that neighborhood to meet with the fire department on a quarterly basis. So we'll go on a quarterly basis and begin to address the things that cause these fires. Because given the smoke alarms are great, and we need to do that, but we also need to address the preventative measures to keep the fires from happening in some other way than what we're currently doing, and that's what this program is intended to do. So I'm asking for your assistance, whatever you can, to spread the word. I'll leave the flyers with the appropriate, leave it with staff, I guess, over here. And
That fire marshal that's gonna be checking smoke alarms tomorrow.
there you go. I'll leave it with the fire marshal. That'll take care of that. And I'd be welcome to take any questions if you have any.
Questions for the chief? Anyone?
Chief, were you able to get the smoke alarm wholesale price to these groups that are sponsoring the communities?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, when Pepco gives them to us, I mean, Pepco and Washington Gas have historically given them to us free of charge. The problem is it's just not enough for where we need to be. So we have a commitment from both KIDA and First Alert to give us a reduced price. What that reduced price actually is, we don't know yet. But they've committed to give us a reduced price as part of this effort.
Sure you'll negotiate hard
We're working on
for
it.
the county.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you
Chief,
very
let me
much.
personally thank you and your staff for helping us to support our volunteers with the LoSAP program. You were very great to testify on behalf of that, and I really, really do appreciate it. I know the council does as well.
It's long overdue.
Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, the public hearing is still open. Does anyone else want to speak? Seeing none, close the public hearing at 7:21. Number 9 on our agenda, the second public hearing with possible action on ordinance number 1827, an ordinance to amend Article 4, Division 1, Subdivision I of the City of Laurel Public Ethics Ordinance from nepotism to anti-nepotism policy. This is our second public hearing. I'll open the public hearing at 7:21. Does anyone wish to speak on this topic? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:21 and a half. What's the pleasure of the council?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I recommend that we approve ordinance number 1827.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Les?
Yes.
President Ricks?
Yes.
Mayor Mel?
Thank you. Item number 10 on the agenda is consideration of a motion to reconsider resolution number 1-14. Resolution number 1-14, a resolution to extend the effective date of ordinance number 1769, an ordinance amending chapter 7, garbage, trash, garbage receptacles of the Code of the City of Laurel to amend section 7-55 to extend the compliance date for existing dumpsters and to provide that the Director of Community Planning Business Services shall administratively approve a site plan amendment for the refuge enclosure and to provide for the waiver of the development review fees and building permit fees for a refuge enclosure and amending section 7-56, requiring compliance with section -20-2.2, plans, plats, and information to accompany application for permits of the United Land Development Code, providing an effective date. I read this into the record for the second time. What's the public hearing at 7:23?
Mr. President, I don't think that's appropriate. I think we need to move a motion to reconsider this first.
Fine, I'll accept that
I'll
motion.
make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Ricks?
Yes.
Now, Mr. President, I think I'm going to make another motion to lay this upon the table to provide for the appointment of a committee by the mayor and council president for the purpose of studying the issue of and making recommendations on approving the ordinance.
Okay, I have a second, please.
Second.
Okay, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Les?
Yes.
Ms. Crary?
Yes.
Ms. Nicholas?
Yes.
Mr. Smalls?
I vote yes.
President Ricks?
I vote yes. And as I stated before, when we had our work session, I will be sending the mayor a letter recommending that Mr. Smalls and Mr. Letters serve on that committee. Okay, number 11 is the introduction and first public hearing on resolution -1-15, a resolution to rescind certain easement granted by the mayor and city council of Laurel, Maryland, as contained in a deed of easement dated the 13th day of November 1978, with Lucille Hull McCabe, her successors or assignees, as the purpose of the easement is no longer in existence, and the easement is revocable by the mayor and city council of Laurel. Okay, law resolution. Not on my. Okay, so I've read this into the record for the first reading. I'll open a public hearing at 7:25. Is there anyone wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll close at 7:25 and we'll have that hearing, final hearing on January the 26th at 7 p.m. here in Chambers. Item number 12, introduction and first public hearing on resolution number 2-16, a resolution to approve a tax credit application for Olive Restaurant on Main Street. I've read the title into the record for the first reading. I'll open a public hearing at 7:26. Is there anyone here wishing to speak? Ms. Saylor.
Mr. President, we discussed Resolution 2-15 at the work session last week. In accordance with Chapter 16 of the Laurel City Code, Olive on Main, the Olive Brothers LLC, purchased 504 and 506 Main Street and have made the tax credit application. This tax credit calculates with current assessments to $2,034.40. That's a 60% tax credit based on the assessments of $458,200. This would be a tax credit of 60% for 3 years, beginning with our fiscal year 2016.
Thank you. The public hearing is still open at 7:27. Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing at 7:27. This will again would be on our agenda for a second reading on January the 26th at 7 p.m. Number 13 on our agenda is an introduction and first public hearing of ordinance number 1828, an ordinance to amend certain project budget items from the FY 2015 to the FY 2020 Capital Improvements Program. Mr. Free.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, the Public Works is looking to amend the text in CIP project PW2-071 for Cherry Lane improvements. As discussed at the work session, we found a stormwater manhole that was sinking on westbound Cherry Lane just west of 4th Street, and in the text it didn't cover us to be able to hire an engineering company to see what the problem was. So we're just looking to change the text, and that's all.
Okay, thanks, sir. I'll open the public hearing at 7:28. Does anyone wish to speak on this topic? Seeing no one, I'll close it at 7:28. This again will be on our agenda for second reading and possible action on Monday, January the 26th. Seeing no other business for the council, stand adjourned.